Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Yep. Good morning, everyone. So last session, we discussed about CSS related some events. So CSS related some events. What are those? CSS positions. Right. CSS positions. How to use static, relative, and absolute sticky positions. All we discussed all those CSS position. Backgrounds also we learned. CSS backgrounds, how to apply backgrounds. Next in CSS, we have another CSS display. We have CSS display options. Already display options, we learned some flex grid. But here some more technical things you will see. So actually display, we are having options like, so one is display attributes, display attribute. So comprises of values. One is in display none, inline and block, flex and grid. These are the display attributes. Display have display none, display inline, display block and display flex. So what is difference and when to use these options? Let's see. Actually, so none. So here we have none. Here itself, first I will say here display none. Display none, it hides HTML element. It hides HTML element. So, and removes the space allocated for the element. That's what actually display none means. It hides the element and removes the space allocated for that element. Why this point you should know is because in interviews, one question they ask, in many interviews they ask that in CSS, we can hide any element by using two techniques. One is display none. Another one is visibility hidden. Visibility hidden. So they will ask, what is difference between none and hidden? That is very popular question asked in interviews, even for experienced people also. Even for experienced people, so in the front-end development, this question is asked. In an MNC interview, they asked. So because in CSS, you can hide by using display none and visibility hidden. Both will hide, but the difference is nothing but display none hides and removes the space allocated, and visibility hidden. So what visibility hidden will do is, so visibility hidden hides, so without removing the allocated space. That is the difference. Without removing the allocated space, so hides the element. Display none and visibility hidden. I will show you this practically how it actually works. Let's see. So display none is used for hiding, and visibility hidden is also used for hiding. Now let's see here. Suppose in this example, I will add a simple design. Yeah. So we have a heading, suppose display styles, and we have some image. So in this images, one.jpg. Okay, some width and height. So this is image we are having, and this is the content. Now what happens is, I want to remove this heading, means hide it temporarily. Then for heading 1, I will give style display as none. If I set display as none, it will be hidden, and you can see the space allocated removed. That means automatically other content will shift to that place. Then this will disturb lot of alignments, because when any content shifts up and down, then our content may disturb the alignments of rest of other elements beside them. So without removing this place, we need to hide it. Then we can use, instead of display none, you can use visibility hidden. If I put visibility hidden, you can see it will hide, but the place is not removed. This heading place is still there. Display none, what happens? The place also removed. If any content is hidden, its place is also removed. So sometimes we have some advertisements we want to remove, but other contents should not go into that advertisement place. It should stay where there it is. That you can control by using display. Display and visibility. These are the two options, right? So you can temporarily hide any element in the page using this. Then how to show it again? If any element is hidden, then how we can show it again? We can do that by using display inline, or you can use display inline and you can use display block. What is difference between these two is, inline is used to keep element side by side. So to keep elements side by side, and block is used to keep element one below another. Then immediately one more question will come. Display flex also keep side by side. Then what is difference between inline and flex? That is also one regular question actually. So inline is used to keep element side by side. Display flex also keeps side by side, right? You see now what is difference then? Difference is actually inline keeps side by side, but inline is used only for, here we will keep, so inline is only for element, whereas flex is for container. So inline is only for element and flex is for container. The difference next level I will show. Here we will see that. Actually, what is display inline display block? First I will show you that. Already we learned one example. We learned validation classes. Suppose I have some input type is equal to text. ID is username and it is having required. We have a div, in the div username required. Now I will write style. In the style hash username, if username is valid, then the div beside should display as none. If username invalid, then the div beside display I give as inline. Div is actually below. Div usually comes below. But when you say inline, now you can see it comes beside. And when I am typing anything inside, then it will be hidden. I removed, then again it will display. Display inline means side by side. Instead of inline, I will just change it to display what? Block. Display block, then it will come below. I am typing something, it is hidden. Not, then it is displayed. So inline places element side by side and block is used to keep element one below another. Inline is side by side and element one below another is block. Then in interviews, what question they ask? For example, suppose they ask one question here. What is difference between inline and flex? This is very popular doubt also, because inline also keeping side by side and flex also keeping side by side. But difference is actually inline is used for individual elements, and flex is used for container that contains elements. Inline is used for individual elements and flex is used for container that contains elements. That means, for example, you see, suppose we have unordered list. Syntax I will show you. We have unordered list. If I say display inline, what will happen? There are items, list item 1, 2, 3, 4, some items are present. If I give display inline, what will happen? They will not come side by side. They will not come side by side. Let's see. Suppose I am having here, I am having an unordered list item, some HTML and CSS and some JavaScript. And you can see here, I am writing, these are there. I am writing here. So yeah, unordered list, display as a inline. It's not working. That's alignment changed. It's not working because display inline it is used for. So this is so not valid, because usually inline is for individual elements. Individual elements means you have to give for li. Every li display should be inline. This is valid. This is valid. This is valid. So unordered list is a container. Container cannot have inline. Container can have flex. If you are applying for container, you give flex. If you are applying for individual elements, then you use inline. So that is one element is there. The element beside it must be another element. Then how do we do? Beside it another element. Then how we can do that? Element beside it another element means just inline you can define. You see, this is good for which one? List item. List item display inline. Now they will be side by side. Right? So that is inline. Inline is used for list items. So for unordered list, display inline is not good. For that, we have to use what? Display flex. Flex will keep side by side. But what that is not only the point. Another point is actually, so for unordered list, which one is good? Display as a flex. One more point is, so inline cannot adjust space between or around the content. It cannot adjust space between or around the content. But flex, what is advantage? Flex provides various options to control the alignment. Flex provides various options to control the alignment of elements in container. Inline cannot do that. Inline will keep side by side. We want those inline to fit from left to right margin or top to bottom. It cannot manage. It cannot handle that. So inline can just keep side by side, but it cannot adjust space between them. It cannot adjust space around them. So that is the problem with inline. But flex advantage, not only keeping side by side, it can easily adjust their alignments. Alignments they can adjust. For that, flex provides some important options, which I will show you here. So first I will just explain the difference. Right? What is the difference is inline is for elements and flex is for container. That is the first thing you need to know. And when you are displaying container, then this option will be used. So display flex and flex attributes. Display flex and flex attributes. What are those? I will give. We already used in so many examples. So display flex. Flex is for container and flex attributes are used to control elements in container. In container, we have flex wrap, we have flex direction, flex wrap, flex direction. And in this flex wrap and flex direction, again several options will be there. Wrap have wrap, wrap have no wrap. Flex direction have row, flex direction have row reverse. Reverse, it have column and column reverse. Column reverse. Here, very important here, flex is not for displaying side by side. That's the wrong idea generally people have. Flex is not for displaying side by side. So that is the reason actually is for container and flex attributes to control the elements in container. It is not for displaying side by side. So it can handle various directions. It can handle various directions. It is not just side by side. So from your brain, you have to remove that display flex is not side by side. Display inline only, side by side. Display flex is not side by side. So display flex means flexible display. In any direction, flexible, horizontally flexible or vertically flexible. It can be both horizontal and vertical flexible. So it is flexible design, flexible display, horizontally and vertically. It is flexible display horizontally and vertically. So you should never say that flex is side by side. Because before knowing about CSS, we learned that because it is simple for you to keep side by side and organize. But if you want to keep only side by side, then go with inline. If you want to control the alignments horizontal, vertical, then we have to use this. I will show you how this will work actually. So flex have some important things. So this is HTML, CSS, JavaScript like this. And unordered list, I will give list style as none. And wherever list item is there, so width is 150 pixel. Padding is 5 pixel. Background color is black. Some color is white. And some box shadow 2 pixel, 2 pixel, 3 pixel, some gray. This is the list items. That is the list item. And margin bottom. Margin I will give all directions some 10 pixel. That's how it looks like. That is the simple display. This is the simple display of some items we are having. Now what we will do is we will add like this some topics. So HTML, JavaScript, Bootstrap like this. So here jQuery, So SAS. So this is Node.js. So MongoDB. Like this, we are adding so many. So, and another one is Express. Okay, these are enough. These are all the items we have. A lot of items are there. Now, I want these items flexible. Flexible means any direction. This is the original size. Now, when you are displaying, you see this is the unordered list. We have border as 2 pixel solid and some black border is there. And padding is also 10 pixel. This is the border we are having. So width as 150 pixel. This is 200, fine. Now this is the nav. I will keep height for this. Unordered list height as 400 pixel. Okay, 500 pixel. That's the height. I want all these items to adjust from top to bottom with correct space between them. Right? That means from top to bottom, they should fit inside the nav bar. Then how? Earlier, what we were doing, we were using margin top, margin bottom. That's not good. All these days, just roughly we are using that. But that's not good because if you give margin bottom, it may adjust. But later, if I change the height of the nav bar, contents will not adjust. They need to be in such a way that they adjust according to the container. So what Flex can do actually, so Flex can make the elements, we call it as Flex box. Flex box can make the elements fit, makes the element fit according to width and height. Flexbox can make the elements fit according to the width and height. That is the advantage of the flex concept. Flexbox can make the elements fit according to width and height. Either it is horizontal or vertical. So first, what we will do here is, because currently in our design, we want one below another. Then what we have to do, we have to go to unordered list. This is unordered list. We will go to unordered list container. We will write display flex. But automatically flex will keep side by side because the default flex direction is row. Default flex direction is row. So you should note one point here. So here I will give flex direction. Flex direction. Flex direction is nothing but it controls the orientation of elements in container. So we can give flex direction. Row is default. Flex direction row is default. We can change this to flex direction column. So flex direction row is the default one. So if you want, you can, can change. If you want, you can change You can change to column. Default is row. If you want, you can change it to columns. That means, see now, I given display flex. For unordered list, we are keeping display flex. When we are keeping display flex, then automatically they come side by side like this. But we have to tell that it's not row flex, it should be column flex. Then we need to add flex direction as column. Flex direction column, then it will display like this. So by default, it is row, you change it to column. Okay, now you see, we are using alignments. How to control the alignments? So flex alignments are controlled by using the attribute who. By using the attribute, one is justify content, another one is align items. Justify content, what it can do? Justify content, it can give space between, it can give space around, it can give space evenly. These are the options it can control. What align items can do? Align items can keep the items, so baseline can keep the items in center. Baseline and center, that means they can, actually this is what? Vertical. So a vertical if it is in column, horizontal if it is in row. That means it will keep horizontal when it is in row. That depends. It's not like always it is horizontal or vertical. It will change accordingly. Flex direction and justify content. Suppose you see here you are writing option like this. What is it? So you see this is, and here we want space between all these. Okay, then what I will do is, just for your understanding sake, let me remove padding for unordered list. Usually it is at the top like this. Now what I will do here, I will just add, so flex direction column, justify content, space between. Space will adjust accordingly. That means it will adjust the space between them and fit. The advantage is, now you are increasing the height as 550. Then automatically they will fit according. Based on the height, they will adjust. That is important. That will not happen if you give margin bottom, which we were doing earlier. This is the correct way. Another option is, here space between came, but space above and space below is not there. If you want, then you can keep that as space around. Space around means it will keep the contents around. That means some gap will come above also. Some gap will come below. You can adjust the space. We can also use another option. What is it? Space evenly. Evenly it will distribute. means above, below, between, all same spaces will come. That depends how you want, you can adjust that. So space between, space evenly. Another option is here we have align items. Align items, what are the align items we are having? Baseline, center, and we also have end. Baseline, center, and end. Baseline is actually, suppose this is, suppose here I given baseline. Baseline means there is no difference here. Why? Because baseline you can see when vertical height is there. For example, we are distributing evenly now. When you are distributing evenly, you cannot see baseline. Actually, I will remove space evenly. Now it will be top. So I will give, instead of items baseline, I will give option as what? End. End means right side will come. Right. So we have another option. What is it? Center. Center will come. But it is not center. Why? Because unordered list is already having some padding. Unordered list is also already having some padding. So generally, if you keep a ordinary div, you will see that, right? How we can keep horizontally center vertical. So end means it will keep to the right. And center means it will keep to the center. And we have baseline means it will keep to the left. From more center you need to shift, then it is left, center, and right. We can control that by using baseline, right? Flex, direction, and align items. Align items, you can have baseline, center, and this. Actually, here, this example I will give. Better, I will add one more also. What is it? Flex, not flex. What is flex? Justify content. Justify content as space between I will give. So it will adjust like this. Okay. Let me copy this example. Yeah. There is another direction actually. The direction is row reverse and column reverse. Here we can add that point. The direction row reverse and column reverse are used to control the placement of latest content on top or left. That is what actually row reverse and column reverse. Latest content can be kept at top or latest content can be kept left. Top or left we can define. That is the option actually, column, row. So here we see, suppose these are the topics. And in this, the latest topic, last topic is Express. This is in many websites, usually it is not a standard list. The list will be changing. New items are adding, old items removing. For example, you are watching YouTube. New videos will be adding at the top. So you are watching some Gmail or something else. Sometimes in browser, when you are watching, the new mails will be bottom. Sometimes new mails are at the top. That means the latest content should reverse. Latest content must be at the top. If anybody adds one more topic, because In JavaScript, we will learn how to add topics, remove topics. For example, what we do, we give a sort button. When user clicks sort button, ascending order, descending order, that is a common requirement. We display data and we provide filter sorting on the data. In that case, we want latest items top. Then you see here I am using display column. Instead of column, I will say column reverse. Column reverse means you can see Express is at top. MongoDB, Node.js, SAS, jQuery, and HTML is bottom. Recently added item will be at the top. It's not descending order. Descending order is a different, alphabetically descending. This is not descending order. Latest item at the top and the old item at the bottom. Later, one more new item added through JavaScript. It will come at the top. We can control that. That is done by using this direction, right? So row reverse also same, but for row reverse, we need to keep the elements side by side. If you, how side by side will come? To keep side by side, what we have to do? We need to adjust the width. Width we will give as some 1000 pixel. Height I will give as 200 pixel. And this time it is not column. Direction is what? Row. That means it will be like this. Will be like this. And align items baseline. I will give align items. You see, baseline means top. Align items center. They will be center. Align items end. So end means bottom. That means if it is vertical, left, center, right. So horizontal, left, center, right. Vertically, top, center, and bottom. So that depends on the direction. That's the reason align items are used for. This align items is used for baseline, center, vertical if it is column, horizontal if it is row. We can control like this. Suppose I will keep here center. So that is align item center. And see, Express is last. Then we will just keep it row what? Reverse. Then Express is first. It will change the orientation. And here one problem is there. The problem is, suppose the width of this is 100%. 100% means it will fit accordingly. That is the width actually. And for this, I will give margin. Margin as 100 pixel. 100 pixel margin, right? Okay. This is adjusted like this. Padding and all we need to adjust. So this width, padding and all we can adjust that. Okay. Now what happens is in this content, I am increasing the zoom level. Then you can see their size is adjusting. That is not good. If I am decreasing the width also, right? I am changing the width. You can see I am changing the width here. They are adjusting themselves inside that. So that is not a good idea of adjusting, because up to certain limit it's okay, but after that they start shrinking. Suppose you are displaying cards, already we designed cards, then problem will come. That is the reason we have one more option. What is that option? I will copy this one. This is so row reverse and column reverse. This is row reverse and column reverse. If there are many items, there is one more option. What is that option is? flex wrap. We have flex wrap. Flex wrap is used to control the wrapping of elements in container. What is meant by wrapping? So wrapping is the process of displaying content into multiple rows and columns. Displaying content into multiple rows and columns. Multiple rows and columns. So when width for content is not sufficient. So if it is not sufficient, so we can adjust the number of rows and columns. This already I showed you when we learned about cards. I explained how to design cards, and in that already I showed you this one. I think which one? Courses cards we designed. In the HTML, I showed you a card style. There we created that actual. Which one? In our public cards. This is the cards. Here already we used. Here already we used. This already I explained. In this design, what we done? We used display flex with flex wrap. If I don't use wrap advantage is when you are adjusting here the window size, automatically the number of rows and columns are changing. Otherwise, if you don't give wrap, then automatically the size will be adjusting. If size is adjusting, the contents inside that card will wrap. They will shrink actually. We should not make the content size to change. Without changing the size, they should display in multiple lines or columns. Then we can adjust that by using which option? Columns. Right? This is the example actually. No need to explain that because already we learned it. I'm just giving that example again. Right? We are giving that example again here. You can try. In this example, already we designed it. So already we saw how to use display flex and how to use the flex wrap, right? This is display and flex options. Another important here, one more thing is in the flex options, what we learned, two important things. So wrapping syntactically here we will give. So for a container, we have to add display. Display is what? Flex and flex wrap. We can say no wrap or we can say wrap. That is how the container works. That is the display style. So next important is while working with display, one more option we learned about display. What is the option we learned about display is a display grid. Display grid. What is the purpose of display grid? So actually you learned it for columns, but display grid is used for designing responsive layout. So not only just arranging rows and columns, it have responsive layout. So it is used to create responsive layout which can change. To create a responsive layout which can change the number of rows and columns dynamically. And not only that, it can change the number of rows and columns dynamically. It also allows to change the position of content in any row or column. That is the main concept actually. That is the main concept of display grid usually. So all these days you used only grid for 3 columns, 4 columns like that. But actually it has more work. It is used for creating responsive designs, which I will show you. So what are the attributes we have? So we have display grid, and how to divide the grid. We have to use grid template columns. So grid template columns, and we have, and means here fractions. So after that, we actually have grid row, so number, and you have grid column. This is also number. These are important while displaying grid. So display grid template columns and fractions, and grid row and grid column. Let's see. So how we can design this? One simple layout I will show you. So to create that, actually, suppose we are designing a web page, and that web page is like this. In this page, suppose we are having header. At the top, there will be header. And left side, we will have navigation. And in the center, we will have section. And right side, we will have some aside. At the bottom, we will have some footer. This is the page. This is good when we are when we are watching any website in a landscape. That means if your device width is more, then this is good, 3 columns. If I am watching the same in portrait mode, so this is your mobile in portrait mode. If I am watching that in portrait mode here, so this is portrait mode. Then how to display this content? How it can display in a portrait mode? So in a portrait mode, only less width is there. So you will shrink like this. Will you shrink like that? That's not good idea. Then content will shrink and they can't see. So then how? In portrait mode, we can do like this. We will put a header here. After that, navigation. That means header. After that, yeah, navigation. After navigation, we will keep a section, right? And if we want some aside, after that, some footer. Like this, it should change. That means how complete layout will change like this. For example, suppose I want right side aside to left side. Suppose I ask to keep one content from top and shift to bottom, or move the navigation to right side. Then generally what basic learners will do, if I ask like, I don't want navigation left side, keep it right. And I want S side advertisement left. Then what generally now a fresher, what he does is he will go, he will cut and he will paste right side. Again cut from right side and put left side. But it should change according to the screen. You are watching YouTube video, you rotated landscape, suddenly it starts playing full screen. That means how the player adjusts itself, mini player and a full screen player. So mini player when it is portrait, full screen player when it is landscape. This kind of orientations we can control for content inside the box by using display grid. Display grid can do, along with one extra thing you need, media queries. Display grid and media queries, we can control that. Let's create this and see. So let's see how it works. I will add a new page here by name layout.html. This is layout.html. We will create a page in this. This is layout. And here we are adding header. Just I will give a simple heading, just header, some text I am giving. Later you can keep anything you want, right? Next we have nav. This is navigation. Then we have main, that is the main. After that we have aside. Aside is ads, so aside. Okay, then we have a footer. So footer, this is the footer. These are enough. I am just keeping these options. Now let's keep a style, and wherever header, nav, main, aside, footer are there, border 1 pixel solid black. And for all of them, margin is 5 pixels. We'll keep that some 5 pixels. And we will keep another one is padding. Padding also 5 pixels. Like this we are defined. Now you can see that is there. Let's run this. These are the layout. Okay. Now the main area, wherever main is there, height I will give as 300 pixel. So main is 400 pixel. Okay, that is fine. Just for your understanding sake, I will just zoom it so that you can see. This is the area. Now what I want is, I want to organize these in such a way that anytime I can change their positions easily, right? So how we can do that? So for that, see the landscape design. In the landscape design, maximum how many columns are there? In the landscape design, maximum how many columns are there? 3 columns are there. So maximum how many columns you need in the body? 3. But first row is merging 3. Second row is 3. Third row is merging 3 again. So we will go to the body section, and in which mode? Landscape mode. So we have to write at the net media. Media is screen and orientation. Orientation colon landscape. Like this we define. If media is screen and the orientation is landscape, media can be what else? Media can be screen, or it can be print, or it can be speech. 3 media types I told you, right? Orientation can be landscape or portrait. If it is landscape, then body must be divided into grid. So display is what? Grid. How many columns? Grid template columns 3. In that left column 3 fraction, center 6 fractions, so that 3 fractions, right? This is 12 fractions. So like this we are dividing. I will give 282 because we don't have any content inside. Now you can see this will be like this. Entire body is divided. Now we can easily place the content wherever we want. Let's see. Now, after doing this, fractions or pixels, I told you difference, right? We can give pixels, but we have to share among how many pixels? 1200. Fractions, how many we have to share? 12 fractions. Okay. Now in this first header, tell me in which row the header must be? First row. From which column it should start? First column. Till how many columns? 3 columns. That means if you write 3, it will be 2 only. Third one is not included. Then what you do is 3 means you have to write 4. So here header grid row. Grid row number is 1. In the grid, its row number is 1. And the grid column 1/4. That means starting from 1 up to 3. Up to 4 means 4. That means it's not 4 included. Up to 4. That means it will be only 3. You can see now it will be like this. Navigation main aside looks okay, but still we are not satisfied with that. What we will do for nav, which row? Grid row. Navigation must be in which row? Second row. Second row. In which column? Grid column. In which column? First column. Navigation must be here na left side. That means it should be in 1. Grid column 1. Grid row 2, second row, first column. Where should be main? Main also grid row is 2, second row only. But grid column, it should be in which column? Second column. Okay, aside. Aside must be grid row, how much? 2, second row only. But grid column 3. Okay, what about footer? Grid row Grid row. Grid row is what? Grid row is 3. And a grid column starting from 1 to 4. Then this is the footer. So you can see it looks like this. Now, what is the specialty? As I told you, we can easily organize content. Suppose I want advertisement left, navigation right. Then simply what you can do is you can change the aside column number to 1 and navigation column number 3. That's it. Automatically content will be shifted. You don't need to cut and paste. That's what many people do because they don't know proper development. That means if I ask like, no, I don't want this in right side, keep it left side, then immediately they will cut and paste there. That's not great. Why? Because how you will cut and paste every time, right? Already page is live, so everybody is watching it, and we ask that just change its direction. Today I want advertisement bottom, tomorrow I want left, next day right, depending on content. Then we will not cut and paste our areas. What we do, we will have a separate CSS file. We will not write embedded. We will write a separate CSS file. In that we will just make the changes in row numbers. Then automatically it reflects on the content on the front, right? That's what we do. Now we can easily shuffle the content. Suppose I want advertisement. This is okay. Advertisement right side again we will move. How we can do that? Navigation is 1, aside is what? 3. Again it will shuffle that, right? And see, this is landscape. But when it becomes portrait, see now, we have to add another media query. At the net what? Media. Media is screen and orientation. Orientation is portrait. Then what should happen? So body. So for body, display is grid. Grid template columns, 12 fractions, only one. Complete fit. And in this, now header position is grid row 1. There is no columns at all, right? Next, after header, I want nav. So grid row is 2. After that, I want main. Grid row is 3. After that, aside. So grid row 4. You can write anywhere, just number is important. Another one is footer. Grid row, where? 5. And you can see here it will not show any difference because currently it is landscape. You change the orientation, but your device should support, right? If you are using a laptop that supports tab based access, that means convertible laptops will be there. You have touch screens and all, you can rotate them. If I rotate my screen here, I'm rotating my laptop here to portrait mode, then automatically its orientation changes now. Orientation changes to where is the browser? Yeah, you can see the orientation like this. Again, I rotate to landscape, then it will be again 3 columns. You can test it on mobile simulators. That means I will copy that here. We have a Chrome. So Chrome mobile simulator is there, right? So in the Chrome mobile simulator, you can change. Now let's paste this. Yeah, this is mobile simulator. In the mobile simulator, you can see this is the orientation here. I'm changing the orientation to landscape, then it will be in 3 columns. And it is changed to portrait mode, then it will be in this way. Complete layout will be changed. You can replace a content anywhere you want. That means just what you can do is, I will keep aside as 3, main as 4. Then after navigation, advertisement will come. We can change the positions and we can keep anything. Just you can shuffle the contents. This is the actual purpose of grid. All these days, what you saw is not the original concept of grid every time. You just learn divide columns and put them. The actual advantage is if you use the row number, column numbers, then you can rearrange. Even in footer also, suppose after you designed, somebody asked like icons I want right side and address I want in the left, then you can easily shuffle them, change their positions. I think we designed Flipkart footers and all. We created Flipkart footer. Yeah, Flipkart footer like we created. Here we used grid actually. But suppose later if anybody says that I want this column here inside left side and this fourth one right side, you can shuffle it easily. Why? Because you just give the row number and column number, it can easily adjust, right? So this is you done by using display grid. This example I will give, this is related to what? Layout. Okay, this is to display grid. That's the example for grid. Okay. Now in this, after knowing about display grid, some more points are there that we'll see in next session. Tomorrow we'll continue. Okay, right? Yeah.